So let's talk about the book Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Ramelt. Now, before we delve into the book, I want to clarify something really important. Most people don't understand the meaning of strategy, and they think it's all about, okay, well, I have this goal and this is my execution plan, so this is my strategy. That's not how strategy works. There's a very distinct definition of great strategy. There's a very distinct meaning of great strategy, and once you get that, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. So here's what great strategy really is. Great strategy is the smallest action that unleashes the greatest effect. The smallest action that you can take in your business, in your life, that unleashes the greatest effect, that can make the greatest change. That is the job. As a strategist, as a leader, as a visionary, our job is to identify that small action that will unleash the greatest effect in our business, in our lives, in whatever endeavor we undertake. Okay, so now let's delve deeper into what's good strategy and what's bad strategy. That's the topic of the discussion of this video. So here's the thing. A good strategy is like there's a kernel to good strategy. And let me explain what I mean by that, or what Richard Ramelt means by that. It's like if you go to see a doctor, okay? If you go to see a doctor, you have some symptoms. What the doctor will first do is will diagnose the problem. What is the real problem? Why are you having these symptoms? Then he will provide you a guiding policy, like therapeutic approach he chooses, and then he'll provide you a set of coherent actions, specific medicines, timing, delivery. Now that is good strategy. You diagnose the problem, you have a policy by which you will take action, and then you have a very specific set of actions that you need to take in order to correct the problem, in order to get the greatest result that you want. Now let's explain. So this is a simple metaphor. Now let me delve deeper into the three elements of strategy. The diagnosis phase. This is probably the most important phase because that's where we define or explain the nature of the challenge. We have to understand the situation. We have to comprehend the situation. And it simplifies the complexity that we have. It simplifies the overwhelming complexity that we have and focuses on what is really important right now. What is the most important thing? And the most important strategic change or the deepest strategic changes come about by a change in diagnosis. A lot of the times we're only working on the guiding policy or on as in what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, but the deepest strategic changes come about by a change in diagnosis. So if you need to do some strategic analysis of your business, of your venture, you need to look at the diagnosis because usually diagnosis is where you can make the biggest swings, the biggest change. So a diagnosis is actually the why, as in why this problem is really happening. Then the guiding policy, just like the doctor. The guiding policy is the overall approach we're going to take to overcome this challenge. And it draws upon the advantages that you already have, draws upon the strengths that you already have in your business or as a human being or whatever it might be, or as a business unit. So the guiding policy is actually what you're going to do. And then the set of coherent actions, those are the actions these are the actions we're going to put in place in order to accomplish the guiding policy. So we need to make it really clear and it has to be focused and coherent. So just to kind of simplify the whole thing, a good strategy is composed of three elements: diagnosis, which is all about why the problem is there in the first place, then the guiding policy, which is all about what you're going to do, and then the set of coherent actions, which is all about how you're going to do it. So that is strategy. That's the kernel of good strategy: diagnosis, guiding policy, and set of coherent actions. Again, I want to draw your attention to the idea that great strategy is all about the smallest action that unleashes the greatest effect. Smallest action that unleashes the greatest effect. So if we diagnose the problem properly, if we have the right guiding policies, and if we have the specific actions, now we can figure out, now we can go after the problem and solve the problem. Now let's try to understand what is bad strategy. Bad strategy is usually fluffy. It's like all vacuous and superficial, never clear. And you fail to face the real challenge in front of you. You don't identify the obstacles. You are it's almost, as the author says, it's vacuous. It's not clear. And sometimes it's taking goals as strategy, having a long list of goals. is what you think its strategy is. But strategy, I mean, having goals for strategy is like thinking that destination is all you need to know. You don't need a vehicle or a map to get there. So you cannot mistake goals for strategy. And most of the times, a bad strategy it has a lot of goals, but there's no policy or action behind it. The set of coherent actions are what make strategy so useful. You can apply it. You can choose to make it happen today. And another problem with strategy is a lot of times we try to do too many things and we're unable to choose the right path forward. It's almost like we're diagnosing multiple different problems, and then we have multiple different guiding policies to fix all these different problems. So we have a whole bunch of set of coherent actions to fix that problem. Of course, without focus, you cannot fix any problem. So going back to the idea, good strategy is all about the smallest action that unleashes the greatest effect. And how does that happen? By finding and using the sources of power. By finding and using the sources of power. And that is what we're going to talk about in the next video. Sources of power used in good strategy, because in order to get that leverage, in order to get that greatest effect, we need to use the sources of power. So that was the starting of Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rumelt. So what you just saw was one of our 100 plus videos in the Get Exponential Results program, and it is all about helping you accomplish your biggest goals by thinking and executing exponentially. Now you might think thinking exponentially or executing exponentially is a little too far-fetched, but let me ask you a couple of questions just so that we're on the same page, okay? What would you have to do to increase your income by 10% this year? It's a pretty simple answer, right? You probably think of becoming more efficient, more productive, working harder, all that good stuff. But what would you have to do to multiply your income by 10, to go 10x? Well, the paradigms of incremental improvement don't just hold anymore, right? You cannot work 10 times harder. You cannot have 240 hours a day. So what do you do? Well, here's what you do. In order to get exponential results, you got to start with strategy. You got to start with identifying the leverage point where the smallest effort unleashes the greatest effect. And now you go on to create an execution system that will make success inevitable. And then you apply productivity and time management principles on top of those. That's the way to go about it. So what we have done here is, in order to help you get exponential results, we have taken the best knowledge from the 40 greatest books on getting exponential results. I mean, books in the field of goal setting, leverage and strategy, systems and execution, productivity and time management, everything that's out there. And we have created this vault of 100 plus actionable strategies and tactics for you that you can just go into anytime you are looking for some new great idea. Now, every day you will get access to a new book summary, and every day for the next 40 days, you get to absorb a new book every day. How awesome is that? How fun is that? So I really look forward to having you on the inside of the program. I hope you will make 2017 your biggest year ever. You accomplish your biggest goals in 2017, and I hope that we can help you in doing that. So you can check out the program by clicking right here, or by going to 2000books.com/results, or you can just click the button, the I button on the top right corner of your video. And the link for this program is also in the description below. If you have any more questions, just post in the video below. I'm looking forward to having you on the inside of the program. Best of luck, my friends.